Alright, we're live.
We're live?
Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
Okay. What are we talking about?
Let's talk about.
Where we're going?
Yeah, we're going to Skudin Surf Wave Pool.
Or California. Haven't decided yet.
Still can make it.
2 days. We
2
could
days. Yeah. How many miles? 5,000 miles?
Good question. I don't know, but I know a good number of people that did it in 48 hours.
I think it depends on how you go, right? Like you can go from the north, like take like a Wyoming, that like Route 80.
Okay.
Highway 80, I think, and then or you can go through the south, Texas.
I feel like we need to go south so we can hit Waco.
Waco.
And then I don't know where we go from there, but then we go to probably Southern California. We could then drive down to the tip of Baja and then try to find a ferry of sorts that could take us over to mainland Mex. So we could go to Huatulco and, the best point breaks in the world.
Yeah, near Oaxaca. That would be sick.
Or we could go to Skudin, which seems closer in the rain.
Yeah, I think it's offshore today.
Yeah.
3 to 4 plus.
Waiting to see how many tickets we get from either me not paying attention to my speed with the speed cameras or blowing red lights, because I do that sometimes.
How many did you get so far?
We get probably 1 or 2 a month. No, not that bad. There are periods we go where it's like we won't get them, and then all of a sudden we get a bunch of them.
Do they reset? I think if you take like a 10, if you get 10, 12, then they can revoke your driver license.
Oh, I don't know, but because it's not tied to the driver, it's tied to the car. So as long as you pay them, they're just moving infractions. You don't have to go to court for unless you want to fight it. Mm-hmm. But they're generally like $50 or $60 or something like that. And Kasha used to get them a lot. My wife, because she has a heavier foot than me. I drive a little bit like a grandma, which is good. But then I'll drive like 40 and a 20, even though it's grandma speed. I'm not paying attention that it's a 20 with a camera.
Straight to stay on Flatbush Avenue, Marine Parkway.
Yeah, especially today, watching Bell's Camp, we're gonna miss all the exits.
We'll probably miss an exit or two. And there's a good chance we'll do a few laps around the mall when we get there, because I usually end up not finding the parking lot.
That mall is so confusing in terms of getting to the parking lot B.
It's like an airport, like trying to find your gate at the airport when you're driving.
Lane to take the Belt Parkway West Ramp, then merge onto Belt Parkway.
What board are you bringing today?
I brought 2 boards today, and one of them is a new board I got just a week ago, arrived, that I did get to surf a couple times in absolutely horrible conditions in our backyard. That is the Hayden Shapes Virtue. Virtue? Am I getting it right? I think it's called Virtue.
Is it a yellow one?
The yellow one. Canary yellow. It was a limited edition that they offered going back around Christmas time. They did a mix-up where they mixed up a bunch of their models, and this is, I guess, a mashup of the Psychedelic Germ and the Hypto-Crypto, and it's 5'4", about 27.5 liters, and curvy as can be. It's such a cool little board. I'll show you when we get there.
I saw the picture. I think the tail looks really nice.
And then the other one that I brought a Dan Mann Chumley, and it's a custom carbon fiber. Yeah, all carbon fiber Chumley. And so I want to see how I'm feeling, how my hip is feeling, and see what boards go. I want to see if that board, the way I have it set up, goes well at the low volume. And for those that haven't surfed that pool, you generally have to crank up a couple liters in volume from your normal, and 27.5 liters is my normal, which I've been able to make work, but I have taken off of all diet and calorie watching over the last month and a half since I went on vacation. So I've probably put on a few
Still
LBs.
doing keto? Or-
No, not for the last month and a half. I've been off, and I've been wielding it. Ice cream 15 times a day. Donuts, sure. Yeah, I'll have a few.
What's your favorite ice cream now?
Oh, chocolate. Chocolate always wins. I just had it. Ice cream man came, Mr. Softy.
Oh, okay.
Pulled up out front. Ran out like a little kid.
Yeah, it's tempting. And nice. So not gonna go over 30 liters of volume.
No, the Chum Lee by Dan Mann is 30 liters. It's like 5.3 by like 20 and a half by like 2.5. It's like a chunky thing. And so it's got a lot of volume in a small package. So corky, floats great, good in all conditions.
Well, I'm gonna miss wave, I hope, this time. If you serve that wave. I mean, that
which?
board. The Dan Mann, the 30 liters.
Yeah. So we're going to see. I kind of want to switch up. I've never done that while at the pool because I never want to get out of rotation while we're waiting. But I have
You should put it on the top where we set up the cameras on the right.
I was thinking I'd get a board caddy. That just.
I think
they will do that. They will.
Yeah,
drop
they will
it
do.
off.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool
Yep.
service.
Put it in the middle, like so they can shoot down like straight into your head and
Yeah, just push it right off.
Wake
It
you up.
cracks me on the crown of my skull. Meanwhile, we're watching as we drive the Bells contest, which I'm not sure we're going to get waves like that. They'll be as clean as that, but they're not going to be
we'll never get those
well
waves.
overhead. Yeah.
Only like out east or maybe up north
Yeah.
or maybe
Rhode Island,
down south,
Montauk.
Utah,
Yeah. Look at that.
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's great this time.
I've been
of year.
watching one guy on YouTube. He's been filming his sessions Lake Michigan.
Oh.
And he's like up north of Chicago.
Okay.
And the waves are pretty long. I mean, they're not that good, but they're so long. Like if you're on a longboard, you can ride for 15-20 seconds. Like even in Rockaway cannot even get that. Like 15-20 seconds, like easy peasy, even if it's weak. And then I saw other videos that he posted when it was firing right after the storm. It would be like a 3-4 plus peeling like point break basically. Kind of makes me want to drive down there or fly and score. It's super novelty.
But it makes it look. It's crazy how places that shouldn't have waves better than us seem to have waves better than us.
Yep.
In New York,
Yeah.
a lot.
Mhm.
Because we are, for those that don't realize, right on the Atlantic Ocean, southeast facing. We should be picking up swell from the Atlantic constantly, but because of the way that the world turns and the way that storms move, France will be bombing. Portugal will be, the world's biggest waves, and we're lucky if in that same week we get a waist-high wave one day.
Well, Doug, forecaster, Robin Steifer from Surfline.
Yeah.
So I did the episode with him, and he mentioned the Hudson Canyon that messes things up for us. It's like if the swell is a little bit off, like it will be big, then we'll have really small stuff. That canyon pushes the swell towards the other, area, or something like that. It doesn't affect Jersey, so Jersey gets...
They say that, but then again, think of the flat spells we go through where you can look at any camera on the East Coast for a 2-week period, and it's literally flat like a lake. Like you can't even log. There are multiple weeks at a time where you could have that on the whole East Coast. What other coast on the planet has that? And we'll go through one of these horrible flat periods where some of the people I follow that surf the Great Lakes are like surfing like 3 days in that 2-week period where I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And we're totally flat. They have storms up there. Shouldn't that be giving us something of local swell? Or the other thing that always blows my mind is like Italy, the sheer number of waves and the number of days that they surf in some areas of Italy is just mind-boggling. And with wave quality that often rivals what we get on some of our better days. I surfed the Mediterranean in France, and it was, admittedly, by the friend I was surfing with at the time, he was from Saint-Tropez, and so we went to his local spot that he surfed all the time by where he went to school near, actually it was between Cannes and Saint-Tropez, and I was like, oh man, you guys get good waves here, and he said, you literally hear as good as it gets. So, but he had the whole corner there of north, I guess it would be the northeast corner of France on the Mediterranean where it meets Italy, pretty well wired, where then, you know, he would even go down into Italy all the time to chase swells. So
just
I feel like we get nothing, and you can't, it's not like we could go over to New Jersey or up to Rhode Island and there'll be waves. Maybe if the winds are wrong, you could go somewhere else, but
yeah, in those instances only. Yeah. Did you surf today?
I did not. I checked it a bunch of times. It looked pretty terrible. And I had a few moments where I'm like, oh, maybe I should paddle out. And then I was like, my new gauge, especially when we're still in all the rubber, is, and especially on a day that we're going to the pool, is, hey, is it better than the pool? And a lot of the times it's not. And that kind of gets me. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to bother putting on 5mm suit, boots, gloves, and everything else just to go out in something that I'm like going to be out there and go, well, I'd be better off being in the pool.
Yeah. It looked like there was somebody at first light, and then it was empty. I was gonna go, and then I decided to save it. Wasn't worth it, because maybe tomorrow morning it looks like there might be something.
Gary went out and he said it was terrible.
Yeah. I think this swell is coming up later today. That's what they say on Surfline.
I saw Brian was going out just as I was getting ice cream before. So.
Oh, for sunset session?
Yeah, he was going out for a sunset session.
Yeah. Look really bad.
I didn't look. I was so tied up with work and family stuff before getting out of there.
How is that mid-length?
I love it. I have to use it more, and I keep saying, okay, I got to use it for a little day. And frankly, I should have gone out a couple days ago when you texted me and said, hey, you want to surf? Because like you said, it probably would have been fun for a mid-length. And
how big is that?
It's 6'6", which for me is a mid-length. For other people, it's a shortboard or a step-up.
Mansell, right? Mansell surfboards?
No, it's Brian Wynn.
Oh, Brian Wynn.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's such a rad board. It's such a beautiful thing. I love it. So I got to make a point. Well, we'll see what tomorrow looks like. It might be a mid-length day.
I mean, you got probably a lot of waves, right, when you were surfing? Way more waves than you would
so many.
Get on a
Definitely
shortboard.
Up the wave count, yeah.
Did it kind of sell you that you will be...
That I would get more waves?
More mid-lengths. You're going to get more mid-lengths.
Oh, would I try more mid-lengths? Yeah, but I think if I was going to get more mid-lengths, it wouldn't be just getting more mid-lengths for the sake of more mid-lengths. It would be experimenting with different types of mid-lengths. So then like a mid-length Simmons, I always thought would be a really cool thing. For me, I thought like a 7-foot Simmons. Mm-hmm. Something about it, for me, that would be like basically a nose rider. But I always felt like Simmons have a better performance capability than people give them credit for, because you kind of putting it on a corner to turn, and so I don't know. I always felt like that would be, if I were looking at like a longboard versus that, or a mid-length that was more like a pulled-in egg shape like a longboard versus that, I always felt like that would be I don't know, a more natural fit for me, or how I surf, or what I like to surf, or what I like to mind surf. Maybe I'd hate it. I don't know.
So what do you sacrifice? I mean,
you sacrifice. I think you've sacrificed maneuverability. That's the only thing I would say I sacrifice on that, because of the extra length and extra weight. You're sacrificing a little bit more maneuverability in the pocket. Although that thing has plenty of spurt and plenty of capability to turn, it has a longer swing weight, so you feel even though it turns quick, it's like it's a different line. And
any advantages? Like
the other point is,
besides wave count, what you gained? Do you think you can improve better, your style making?
Oh yeah, I think the more I surf it, it will probably smooth out my style a lot. So I need to surf it more. I need to make a point of surfing more. I haven't surfed a whole lot since I got back from Puerto Rico, though. To be candid, and we've had a lot of weird days where the wind is sideways. So it was one of these things where there's been a lot of days where the moment I can sneak out, the wind is like 25 knots sideways, and it's just like I don't even want to bother at that point. Unfortunately, here in the Northeast, we're kind of forced to bother, or else we might not have waves for another week. Whereas if in like California, if the wind's sideways, that's wait 8 hours, and
you might not even have a waves in an hour. That's the thing. The wind
that's it.
Can kill it completely.
It's like, or if we get good waves, that's it. Wind and tide will kill it within an hour.
So with that mid-length, you got more waves.
Yep. And I'm higher up in the water, so I can see things.
And then you missing. I guess in terms of performance, you're missing those, sharper turns and stuff like that.
Sharper turns. I would say tighter turns in tighter places.
Less spray.
Yeah, where you have a smaller turning rate, where like uneven sections that we have that come at you fast and sideways and stuff like that. I feel like a smaller board fits into the section better. But part of that also is because that's all I know. So I think the more I ride it, I'll probably have a different take on it. But for like a nice lined up day, like I kind of envision that being the perfect thing when we have one of those summer swells that's like, I'm trying to think, like a foot and a half at 15 seconds or something, where it's like just welling up off the corner of the jetty and just kind of a long line where it's kind of too drawn out for a shortboard. I could see just loving that thing on the mid-length. But then again, it's pretty good on the days I took it out. It was it holds up. It's not like a point and shoot. Like, I don't know. I guess I think of a lot of people that get mid-lengths as kind of just pointing and shooting and going straight. But that might just be because, again, if you're starting later in life, it's easier to get a board with much more float, and so they haven't learned to do turns or anything yet. So
I think it depends on your level too, right? If you're always like a shortboarder and then you just enjoy doing those snaps, like really good, like a quick cutbacks and running down the line, and really surfing the pocket a lot, and throwing out airs and other things, and like enjoying that spray that you're pushing off the rail, and that's like, I guess, something that stops you to change your behavior, right? And then move to the mid-length, because that's what you love it about surfing too.
Yeah.
And then when you switch to mid-length, you kind of feel like you're like cheating a little bit, and then you're not getting that enjoyment, right, at some point.
Well, I do get a little bit of that where it's like, okay, I was out on the mid-length on one particularly good day where I was like, this would be pretty fun on a shortboard too. But I think what I have to do is, it's that whole thing where you have to unlearn the mistakes of the past. And I think anybody who literally only shortboarded their whole life, or only shortboarded, short fished, Simmons, everything small, will have a lot of unlearning to do. So I think the more I unlearn it, and what I try to always tell myself is, don't try to surf the board. Let the board tell you how it wants to be surfed. and often I screw it up anyway. But I think with the mid-length, there's more foam there, so it will force me to let it take control a little bit more, and that's why I just need to do more of, because again, it's going to be helping my surfing in the long run and
make it more fluid.
But
too.
man, yeah, it is nice not just a couple strokes and you're in instead of fighting to get in on a slow day or something. It's
very tempting,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to wait for the set. I mean, like, you can take the biggest set, wait in the line, but you're not gonna miss the wave.
I never want to be that person that's sitting like 30 feet outside of everyone and taking the first one in every set, and then paddles right outside of everyone and takes the first one in every set. But I could see how
Potential.
it's easier to do that when you have, and it's usually a guy on a log or a guy on a really stretched out mid-length, and I see why it gives that potential. It's so tempting.
Yeah.
Duck diving's a new experience with that. And again, mine's not a giant, but compared to what I ride, it's a full foot longer and much wider and more volume. So it was an interesting learning curve.
Different timing.
Yep.
Right, and approach to get out. And you use more strength too, power to duck dive. If you didn't get used to it in the beginning. I started on the foamies, like 9-foot foamies, and for me, moving down to 45 liters mid-length from 99 liters foamy, that was easier because I get used to getting out on the bigger days on the foamy. But if you starting from a shortboard and going
if
to
your
mid-length,
average literage is like 27.5 liters and you're jumping up to like 40 liters, it's like, whoa, what am I doing here with this thing?
yeah. But the mid-lengths got better now. I mean, they got so much performance. They doing like a really foil down rails and overall shape, and really fast and nimble. I guess you can really find your own that will work as a shortboard pretty much. Right? Just a little bit longer, and that length will just give you to early entrance into the waves. But it will still be almost the same as you would be on a shortboard to get into the pocket. I honestly, it depends on the mid-length. So every mid-length is so different. There's some mid-lengths just for cruising down the line, but some mid-lengths, they really want you to work in the pocket, they really want to, put in on the rail.
I want to get out on just a few. See, that's the thing. I keep saying, that would be dreamy on a nice, clean, like waist high day. But then I'm thinking, geez, we just don't get a lot of nice, clean waist high days. Or it will be clean for 5 minutes until the wind switches.
Yeah.
I think I need a vacation. Got a U-Haul full of boards and go across country and or down to Mexico and hook it up.
I think the season is about to start in Mexico. South swells.
We just tried going to Puerto Rico this weekend and getting tickets, and
is there swell running now?
Yep, a little bit of swell and trade swells in the north, but there was at the back end of a swell that was hitting them, and it was best we could find was 1,200 a person tickets for a family of 4 flying down.
Yeah,
well over 5,000 after taxes. It's like, man.
Then you have to divide by how many waves you're gonna catch, and it's a lot. Probably $200 a wave.
Yeah, it's gonna be a real expensive trip. But it's because it's spring break and everything, so everyone on the East Coast is on vacation and half of America. So.
Yeah. Cool. So any mid-lengths coming in? Did you order anything?
No, I have a bunch of boards coming in over the next month or so. I have a board I'm waiting on from Chile. It's a new twin fin, performance twin fin that they have worked up, one of their Project Black twin fins. I have another twin coming from John Mullane, which I posted yesterday, which is it's actually a shape designed by a guy, Scotty James, in Australia, SJS Custom, and John Mullane, who's in California, Central Coast, he is the U.S. board builder for Scotty. So if Scott gets orders in the Americas, John is the one who fulfills them and shapes them and builds them. And so it's in Varel foam, and it's an absolute little speed machine. And,
yeah, Varel foam is awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Ah. That's, I think, the future. I don't know what will be next, in terms of responsiveness and the longevity.
Yeah, those are the next two I have coming in, and there's a few others in the wings that are. We'll see when. It's hard to know. I've gotten good at never asking, "Is the board done?" It took me a while, but I've gotten to that point in my life where I no longer ask.
Is CI sending you like a?
I don't know. I haven't. I have to catch up with Devin and Howard. We haven't caught up in a bit, and he was going to try to design something like a tweaked out version of the CI mid with twin fin only setup.
He's been surfing that. I ordered. I ordered a twin.
Oh, you did?
CI mid twin.
Okay.
Custom. But I don't even know when they will arrive, and I don't even ask because on the website it says 12 weeks.
Oh gosh.
And then I realized, oh my God, that's crazy. But I just wherever, when it comes here, we don't have waves anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the way. I guess I cared about it more when I had less boards, and it's not that I care about any board less or anything. It's just that, if it would be one of these things where when you order it, obviously you wish it would come tomorrow, but it's also the wait is nice because then it's not that you forget about it, but it's kind of like all of a sudden you get pinged one day and it's like board is done or something, or what's your shipping address, and it's like you get excited all over again. It's such a cool feeling.
Totally. Great.
Yeah, I have kind of thinking about what I want to try next in terms of, I feel like I want to switch things up and try other things, but again, I don't want to order a lot of similar.
Because you're only getting a
variety.
thruster or quad. You never actually ordered a single. Did you even think to?
No, I never thought to order a single because I tried to imagine a situation like if I was going to get a single, it would probably be a mid-length. Because I struggle to imagine a situation where I'd want to ride a single.
Or maybe
where we
Bonzer
live.
or something like that.
Yeah, I mean something. I do have a Bonzer that goes great, and again those little trailer fins. So again, it's kind of like a single because the little Bonzer runners are so small on it. It's a Bonzer 5, but it's still something different. Yeah, I probably should try a single, but I think it would be a mid-length if I do go single.
So you're kind of on the way now to get into more alternative shapes, play with some different shapes, not just a standard fish or a standard shortboard. You want to do something more? Get different feelings.
I always love Simmonsy shapes, wide things, love weird, I love side cuts on boards, I love asymmetricals.
Asyms is my kind of a sweet tooth. If I see this asym, I want to get it.
I want to get
mini Siemens.
I want to get one I posted this morning from 9 Lights Surfboards. He does all his boards, probably the vast majority of them in wood. It's EPS foam with wood over it, and he does a mini Simmons. He calls a mini Bob, and he does an asym version of it too to loosen it up on the tail.
I think I checked it out this morning.
It's such a cool thing because it's got the slide and glide of a Simmons, but it's got the
shorter rail
on the back
line
foot,
too.
the shorter rail line, and the
I just
quad
can't imagine
cluster.
how fun it would be to ride it. Really fun.
eyeing things like that.
Are you gonna order that disorder from album?
I think I have to.
I
Yeah.
almost got it. I saw that post, the one that was like in color, black and white.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, just recently, like 2 weeks ago. And then I was at work, and then I was just thinking, and like, all right, let me go home, pitch my wife to see like if we gonna go for it. And I came home, checked the post, and
Yep.
it was gone.
Ah, sold. Okay. I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say, and she held a knife to your throat and said, don't you dare.
But it was so tempting because it looked so fun. It wasn't like really like a thin. It was like I think 5.7 by 20 by 2.5. So it was so fun, like good for our weak waves.
Yep.
Kind of like a graveler approach. So because usually if you do 5.7, it would be like by 19 by 220, something like that, and that would need a wave. So this one I would definitely go on like a 1 to 2 foot wave, and it would be really easy to do turns and stuff like that. So, well, until next post, we'll see
Yeah.
when Matt shapes another one.
I know. It's such a cool design. I really like the other one he just released too. The one he just did with Jack Freestone, the Free Wing, I think it's called, where it's
Continue on Belt Parkway for 2
reminds
miles.
me of like an 80s style thruster, but it's meant to be ridden as a twin plus or trailer. Oh my God, look at that wave Felipe has got.
Oh yeah, that one looks so good. That's like a trestle wave, pretty much. Looks like a trestles.
So
in some
clean and so-
in some areas that right kind of.
It's so funny
open.
because it looks so dreamy and like such an easy wave to ride. And then I was watching guys, I think it was 2 days ago, and they were eating crap on almost every turn. And I was like, oh, so it feels good when you see it. Somebody that does this professionally fall, because it's like, I do that too. Can't do that turn, but I could definitely do that fall.
Yeah.
I could probably fall harder and more awkward.
Great. Yeah, ASIMs.
That's it. One of the coolest things is when you see guys that were pro that switch over. Well, I guess they're still technically pros, but they're no longer competing on tour. That go the, let me try different boards route. Where Josh Kerr with Album, now Jack Freestone with Album is trying, wildly different things than he ever surfed before. A lot of ASIMs. A lot of twin fins, and it's just so cool seeing that, because the joy that brings a new spark in a way that when you got to think these guys grew up with a shortboard attached to their feet, doing airs
1.5 miles.
consistently by the time they were 10, and competing at an amateur then professional level from the time they were in their teens, and that's all they've ever ridden. And even in the off season, they can't experiment too much because they have to keep training, repetition, and so when they get to actually try different things, it's so cool to see when they do it and they really take to it. Like, again, Josh Kerr, where he's been like, just, I mean, who's cooler to watch on a twin than him over the last few years? And he surfs the thing like, I don't want to say he surfs it like a shortboard, but it's something different, because he's got the just absolutely everything he surfs, I want to surf. Every time I see him surf, it just makes me want to go have fun.
Well, I think he's probably one of the. It's one of the reasons that's why I got into twin fins, and I think by watching him ripping on it, and I was like, oh, let me try to get one.
Have you found that you rip on it the same as Josh? Because I've not found that yet.
Only falling as Josh,
Okay.
but not ripping,
Yeah.
fortunately.
I cannot do it.
But what in the back of my mind, I think if I go to Mentawise and surf those waves like he does, I think I'm gonna rip like him.
I feel like I could too if I went in a time machine to the Mentoys and
Mentawise.
and went, I'm probably saying it wrong, so sorry, and became like 7 again and just started over again, but there with good boards.
No, you're gonna rip it. I think if you stay there for 6 months,
Yeah.
you're gonna be different, Ron.
Well, I've seen it with friends from New York that were always kind of okay at surfing, and then they moved out to California where they get a lot more waves, where they get to pick the waves, where they don't have to just go out on a windy, shitty day because it's not always windy and shitty there. And they got so much better, so much quicker. In like 6 months or a year in, they're surfing like a different surfer. And it's like, oh, well, this is what happens when you get the consistency of good conditions all the time and decent waves that aren't just, you know, a crapshoot most days. Reefs, things like that we just don't have.
How did your trip to Puerto Rico go in terms of surf improvement? You know, did you feel that you improved a little bit?
No, not really, because I was surfing wildly different waves each day, so it wasn't like the repetition of like times I've gone in the past. I've stuck to one wave and surfed that one wave, you know, pretty much the whole trip.
Or that point break?
Yeah, but that particular point break wasn't breaking the whole time, so I had to go to different breaks, and each time I was trying to seek out something different, and so you never get that repetition and comfort of learning the lineup, and you're trying to dodge pieces of reef and not step on urchins, and you know, more concerned with things and not, you know, get in the way of locals and things like that, where you don't get the repetition of that same wave over and over and over and over and over again. If we had more swell getting into where we were staying, then I definitely would have gotten that repetition. But also variety, it was fun trying different spots. So I dig that.
It's cool. Yeah. Any trip to Europe? Or
we're trying to book for June, and we're split because we want to do 2 trips to Europe this summer, one in June, one in August. You know, obviously have to see what the whole global political situation is with war and everything else, but we're looking right now to book for June, and one of the trips we want to do to like somewhere, we're thinking France, we're leaning towards France. And the other one we're leaning towards probably going to do Iceland, just because it's a good familiar trip. I've been there 3 times, love the place. And,
will there be waves in June in Iceland?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's Europe. It's going to be better than here.
I know in Portugal it looks like kind of flat, you know, like low season.
Well, it's low season, but they still get better waves in their low season than we get in our low season for sure. Because if you look at summer being our low season. And again, if you look at any storms, what are they moving? They're moving always moving from west to east. And
even I think they say like a small waves. I mean, for us, it's going to be epic.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
It.
I mean, like they say like a 1-2 foot, and then you get there and it's like a 3 to 4 plus in our backyard, and it's magically peeling.
That was it. My first time going to Hawaii, and it was probably like, you know, chest-high waves with bigger sets, and I'm paddling out across a lagoon and then walking on a reef, and these guys behind me in front of me, who I followed to make sure I know where the hell I'm going out, started talking to me, asking me about the board, and we were talking, and they said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "New York," and they said, "Have you been here before?" I said, "No, first time, and actually this is my first time paddling out, so thank you, because I'm following you guys across the lagoon and through the reef pass." And they're like, "Oh, well, shame you came when it's flat." And I'm like looking at these chest-high waves, I'm like, flat? This is like awesome.
Yeah. Had the same experience.
Chest high, glassy, crystal clear, warm water, palm trees, blazing sun. I'm like, this is paradise. What are you talking about, flat?
Yeah, I mean, we can imagine like when it's not flat. I mean, and
nope.
They see like a 4-5 Hawaiian. That's I had the same situation. I was in Haleiwa, and then I went to rent a mid-length or longboard, and the guy who worked at the surf shop, he say, "Oh, I thought it's flat today." I was like, "I don't think so. It looks kind of breaking." So I grabbed the board and paddle out at Lani, and that was like a head-high set sometimes. In. I mean, from my perspective, it was head-high. I mean, from their perspective, it's flat. So Definitely different
my
scale.
first North Shore experience was that where I went up north for a 2-foot warm-up day, and I just was like, wow, I cannot even imagine what they call 10 to 12 foot looks like or feels like, or 6 to 8 foot feels like if this is a 2-foot warm-up day. But then again, they get those things that we don't really get. Like it's very rare that we get like a sneaker set where it's like much bigger than the prior sets. We could get that but it's on like a hurricane swell or on a really big day.
Yeah.
But you could have that there on and even on the South Shore, I'd have it on like a waist to chest high day where all of a sudden a well overhead set will come through. And we generally don't get that. And so having that at on surfing on the North Shore where it's their 2 foot, which was like head high and above for us, and then having a set that comes in that probably was like head high and a half, where it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? And I'm out of position. I just can't even imagine being on the North Shore 6 to 8 foot. But that's the problem with growing up here, surfing and not going to Hawaii all the time. I'm always amazed at guys from here that grew up here that are comfortable surfing the North Shore all winter, where, yes, it can pump here, yes, it could get big here, but is that 8 times a year, that it gets really big and good, if that 8 times a year,
And working too, it could be a really good swell, and then it would be just closeout. So you have to
and then it could be for 2 hours before the wind switches, and so for them to get a level of comfort in Hawaii, and I know that means going over and spending a whole winter over there, but it always amazes me seeing guys like Balaram and what they're able to do, or the guys I grew up with out east in the Hamptons that spend every winter over there, and they're just as comfortable over there as they are here.
Mike Reinhardt from Locals, he's been getting into big wave surfing now.
Yeah.
Towing sessions. Wow. He's in Puerto Rico now.
Crazy. Yeah, he just went down for that swell.
Tres Palmas.
John Florence. John Florence.
I should take that lane.
Yeah, I don't know though.
Barreled.
When do we turn? 0.6 miles, so I don't want to try to fight my way back in.
Just get used to be annoyed and then boom.
Yeah, I guess I could bump them, but my wife will get so bummed if I wreck the car.
I think hopefully we can make it on time.
Well, we're going to make it. We're going to probably have to call them to let us in.
You can avoid it by going via Belt Parkway, leave Ferrickson Drive, Short Parkway, which saves 4 minutes. If you prefer to stay on the current route, tap no thanks.
No, thanks.
No thanks.
Doesn't sound so good.
What did it say? 8:20? Okay, we'll be fine.
Yeah, as long as we get there, even 20 minutes
8:20,
early.
30, yeah. You don't need to do that assessment, the training. You can jump into the pool.
I could use the training.
Training?
It's been a while. Yeah.
How to not burn people?
Yeah. It would be funny if the pool was like the ocean where people get real, give people stink eye and cut people off and drop in on people, and if there were no rules, it would be a weird thing. And then it would be weird if the ocean worked like the pool, where you have 1,000 people out, but everybody's taking turns.
Yeah, that's the future, I think, once they start building up bigger pools.
I just like them to make the ocean work so we get waves. Put some wave machines out here in Brooklyn. Give it.
Well, the Verrazano Point sometimes breaks.
Well,
on huge nor'easter.
Yeah, but let's not talk too much about that.
Okay.
We don't want to let everybody know about Verrazano Point.
Yeah, I posted a while ago some picture, and then I was really getting a lot of heat to take that post down. So
it's like Fort Point in San Francisco, but it's much better. And the good thing is you have to just know, because it only works through a couple degrees of direction of swell. So unless you know it and you know the swell period that it will break on, people just don't know. And I ain't going to tell them. 193 degrees out of the southeast. Well, we have a good Uzbek restaurant in Rockaway. Good old
Umas.
Yeah. And we have one of my favorites is in Briarwood, Queens, a place called Or Yehuda, an Uzbek restaurant that is fantastic.
In 600 feet,
Bish-
use the right 2 lanes to
shish
take exit
kebab
3
around.
for I-278 West,
Sashwik.
Verrazano Bridge towards Staten Island.
Did you go to Umas in Hobos?
I didn't. We just didn't have time. We were always just trying to get the kids something quick and
Use the right 2
get them
lanes
settled
to
on the
take
beach.
exit 3.
Going with 2 little kids
I
always
just can't
complicates
imagine.
every trip.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, like going with one kid is hard.
Yeah.
Getting everything set up and planning. But you were just surfing out front. Did you?
No,
did you have to drive?
I had to drive.
You had to
Yeah,
drive?
we stay at a place where there's not really waves, because that way the kids can play in the beach behind the place and play in the pool and beach. And but we pick a place that is like has everything on the premises. Like it has a restaurant on the premises, everything. So that way I could take the car and bolt each day and go surf. And what we would try to do is break up the day depending on tides and waves, where we go and do some activities, and I fit surfing in either before or after or in between.
So I had to negotiate a lot too.
Yeah, not really. They were
Alright.
pretty flexible because they're, thankfully, they were really, I mean, kids just want to go to the pool.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think having a pool where you stay, it's amazing. You don't have to do a lot of other things.
for the kids,
Like,
yeah,
for the
that's
kids.
it. Yeah.
So I got spoiled now with this all set up in DR.
That
so
looked
I was
like
on the
a
other
great
side.
setup. So,
Yeah, so it was a bungalow, and then there were like 2 more houses,
Okay.
but no one was there. So we were just like in one house and had pretty much pool to ourselves. And Ivan got into this pool, and he didn't want to go anywhere else. In the morning, 7 a.m., he's like, I want to go to the pool. I was like, oh my God, it's too early. But it was cool because it was right by the beach where the waves are. And,
Okay.
and I could just walk out like
Oh,
15
so you didn't
seconds,
even have to drive
15, 20
anywhere.
seconds,
Yeah.
and I'm right by the beach,
Okay.
and then paddle out. But the downside in DR, in that area near Cabaretta, is
Yeah.
that the wind is kicking in the trades going
Every
so
day,
hard.
yeah.
After 10, 11, it's bad. Like, and I guess it's a good combo if you travel with the family, so they know that after 10 you're not gonna surf.
Yeah.
So you cannot even do anything. It's just you're gonna be with the family.
Then you could go and see those violent monkeys that were ripping your hats off. And
Yeah.
was that like a safari park or something, or was
So
that?
they rescued monkeys.
Okay.
Then they started to bring, I guess, what they call mate and do things. So they start to have a second generation of monkeys. They're rescued from, I don't remember which country, Panama, something like that.
Okay.
The guy was, feeding them with wheat and with giving them beer, vodka. Yeah, they were really abused, and so these guys like taking care of them.
Wait a second. I wish somebody would abuse me with beer and vodka.
Yeah, so these guys taking care of them, and then the money that you pay for visiting that place, half of them goes to the village to help the people who live in the village, with
That's cool.
medication and other services. So I think the Haitians they live in that area.
Okay.
So.
Is it close to the border of Haiti, that one? Or
No.
But it
There are a
just
lot of
happens to be a lot of
Haitians in
Yeah.
DR. They work at construction, some other places. So, yeah. Are you gonna surf tomorrow, you think?
I'm going to try. I want to see what it looks like when we wake up. Hopefully
High
I'll get
tide
sleep
is at
tonight.
6:30, 7.
2 nights of no sleep, so let's hope I
Oh,
conk
yeah.
out after this surf.
I can drive back if you want to. I had a good sleep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not sure that you're a duly licensed driver in this state or country.
I used to buy licenses, but here I had to pass exam.
That makes sense.
But it took me like 7 times.
Where are we going? Straight, right? Over here.
I was speaking who got the license right.
Yeah, I'm probably going
Right.
to crash a little bit on. This is a little, hit a couple cones, nothing big.
Yeah, hopefully something for tomorrow, because I'm kind of itching to get into the water again. I feel like I haven't surfed for a long time since I came back from DR.
Well, it's hard to get, we don't get many days in a row. And that's one of the things, the repetition that we miss being where we are, where it's like, how many days do we get where it's like you have multiple days in a row? And then we'll get one of those and it's like, I can't believe we just had 2 days in a row or
Yeah.
3 days in a row of
And you're
fun
smiling
waves.
like
Yeah.
crazy.
I never understood for the longest time friends that live in places that actually have way more waves, why they're like, they'd just bail if it was under chest high, like, it's not really swell in the water, I'll wait till next time. And for us, you see some of the crap we're out there in where it's barely even breaking, and it's like, we're just happy to be alive.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I get like from people when doing reviews and stuff, and then I'll get a comment from someone, this is not a big wave.
Yeah, this is not even a wave.
This is not even a wave. This is barely around 1 foot wave. And I don't even ask like where they are, because I know like wherever they are, they have better waves for sure than us.
Yeah.
Our waves, I would say, considering in terms of scale, East Coast, then you would probably get something similar maybe in Baltic countries, in Sweden, Denmark, maybe something around there.
Yep.
You can get maybe something similar in Israel, those maybe Mediterranean.
Yep.
But in general, it's just the worst.
It is. There's any number of days you could look when we're dead flat, and you could look around the world and you just start checking the maps for swell maps and buoys and stuff like that, and you'll see swell in weird places that theoretically shouldn't even have waves, lakes and stuff, and will be flat like a lake.
I think in Florida is more consistent. I think it gets like that wind swell or chop.
Yeah.
Near Coco Beach.
New Smyrna Beach.
Yeah, in Smyrna. Yep. The greatest shark capital in the world.
Good place to get eaten. Or nibbled. I think more nibbles than... Yeah, they get a lot of nibbles down there. I wouldn't want to lose a toe, though. I feel like they definitely get a lot more surf than we do. Just watching some of the people I know down there.
Everyone who is from Florida, they're really good. If I see someone in here ripping in a really like 1 foot chop, and 99% he grew up in Florida. Yep.
There's a handful right in our neighborhood. Ben.
Doherty.
Yeah. Juan. Why am I blanking on his name? Who is affiliated with the Canadas surf thing. Do you know Juan? Heredia.
No. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely rips. It's those small waves, man. I guess you could say we get small waves too, but the other thing they get is warmer water. They get more consistency.
Yeah, again,
a lot to be said for that.
Go on and on. Why we suck.
I want to know where. Yeah, it's where we live. That's why we suck, not because we just suck.
Yeah, we would be really good. We would be like a Kelly Slater.
I mean, God, if we lived at Trussell's, and I mean.
Definitely.
I'd probably be on tour right now.
Yeah. You'll be right there at Bell's, ringing the bell.
I'd be at Bell's. Certainly be in the top 5. Again, all you have to do is know somebody that moved from here to somewhere that has more consistency and better waves, and it's like, oh, okay, look how much better they got so quick in such a short period of time.
Yeah. All right, I think it's getting darker. We're getting close to the pool. We're gonna rip tonight. Thank you guys for watching. If you like my reviews, please subscribe. This will really help this channel to grow and Run Shine to grow too. So follow him on Instagram, Boardporn. You don't have YouTube
Boardporn.
yet. You should start YouTubing. Too.
Yeah. What is YouTube? Is that like
It's a thing where you go and watch how to do things, how to rip, how to pop up, how to surf.
Will it teach me how to surf on a skateboard?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with a leash, for sure.
I'm on it.
All right.
I see that thing falling on us, right?